morning, friends. Well, as promised, I thought I would give you an update on the project that we've been working on. I first showed you this area a few weeks ago, and if you recall, it was filled with fern, bishop's weed, bamboo. It was a bit of a mess. And then a friend of Mark's had purchased an excavator that he wanted to, quote unquote, play with. So Mark said, come on over and play here. And that's exactly what he did. He worked on this area, I should say we worked on the area roughly 4 days. Mark and I put in more time in between, but because we had to cut down some trees, as you can see, we've stacked just a little bit of wood. This is just some of it. The rest of it is actually up by our shed because it needs to be split. What you are seeing here, this beautiful green, and that you can see we are watering, is hydroseed. And that was just sprayed 2 days ago. It's been very warm here, and so obviously we have to water. But if you recall from several videos ago, that used to be what I called my secret garden. And that is no longer that. Not at this point. Who knows what we'll end up doing. But I'm just very excited, mainly because of this stone wall. Now, all of this stone came from our property here. So a lot of it was dug out from, this area here, but we also had a couple of larger rocks dug out from our yard. Yes, we grow rocks here in New Hampshire. So let me go around from the other side so I don't get wet from the sprinkler, and let me show you the stone wall. So as an example, this rock here was actually in our yard. It was right there. No, I'm sorry. It was right here. And Mark could always had to mow around it because it stuck out. Anyway, let me see if I can kind of sneak in here a little. I hope Mark doesn't see me doing this. I'm way over on the edge, but I want to show you the stone wall. I just love it. It's beautiful. He did such a great job with it. I don't know. He has a natural talent with this new toy of his. He has a full-time job, so this is just something he's doing on the side. But anyway, that is our new retaining wall or stone wall. This here, right here, we are going to add one more stone at the bottom, and then those will be natural steps coming down to this area. And then above the area, right where you see the dirt, I am going to be planting some bushes. I have some hydrangeas I want to move, some peonies I will be moving in the fall, but that will be filled in with some bushes and whatever plants I decide on. So it's just so much better. I cannot wait for this grass to start popping up. And so I just wanted to give you the update because I promised I would do so. But let's take a walk into the yard. There's something else I want to share with you. So back in Michigan, Mark had built me a really nice clothesline. Again, we had 3.5 acres, and we were out in the open. We have the same amount of property here. However, as you can see, we live in the woods. So anyway, I really missed having my clothesline, and I found this online. Now, I thought it was going to be much taller, much longer, and so it's my fault. I could have paid more attention to the measurements. So when I got it and opened it up, I was really surprised. Now, it collapses down. It came with a little storage or carrying case. It's just a little nylon case, which that I love for storing. Honestly, I have to say I love it. I have been drying my sheets out here. We have a king-size bed, and they fit on here. So, and that's, I mean, I don't want to be drying, I don't necessarily need to be hanging all of my clothes. I love having my sheets hung in the summer and crawling into bed with that fresh air smell. I just love that. And as you can see right now, this is a baptism gown, and this was what all three of my daughters wore. Theodore is coming back to town and he's getting baptized, and he will be wearing this. Now, this has a special meaning for all of us. Of course, the fact that Theodore's mother and his two aunts wore this gown is very special. But when I was pregnant with Caitlin, Theodore's mother, my cousin had gone to Paris that summer, and Caitlin was due in August, and when my cousin was there, she purchased this baptismal gown. And of course, it's very special because it's from Paris, but also the fact that it's made in Western Germany. So that's even more special because Mark's family is German. So anyway, it's a beautiful gown. I need to trim this a little, but I just hand washed it. It's in great shape. I've had it stored wrapped in tissue and in a nice air-free bag. Anyway, I have that drying out here because I did wash that by hand, but I wanted to share this. I will link it below. It's great if you don't need a very large clothesline. It would be great if you had a small yard, maybe even a little patio, because like I said, it collapses down and it comes with a storage bag. So I thought it was worthy of sharing because I was against it at first, but now I'm loving it and I've been using it constantly. Last week when Mark and I left Grafton Pond from kayaking, that was last week's video, yes, that I shared, we decided to take a little drive around and look at the area. And we discovered Enfield, New Hampshire. Now there is a huge, beautiful lake there. I believe it was Muskoma Lake. Just gorgeous. Very busy because it was the 4th of July. And but there was also a Shaker village there that I would love to go back to and tour once that is opened, because it was 4th of July, of course it was closed. But I took some video of that, along with across the street was what I would call a grotto. And I'll show you, and I'm going to share with you what I've learned about that, but it's just gorgeous. And I know we do have another Shaker village here in New Hampshire in Canterbury. I have not been there. I have been by it. It's gorgeous. And again, I would like to tour that someday. The Shakers, they intrigue me. They're newer to me. I'm used to Amish because there are Amish in Michigan and of course in Ohio, Indiana, the area that I'm from. So I thought it would be fun just to share that video. Again, it was just beautiful. Now, this shrine with the Stations of the Cross was across the street, and it is actually called the Shrine of Our Lady of La Salette. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not, but it was absolutely beautiful. And behind me here across the road is the huge, beautiful lake that I showed you earlier, Lake Makoma. Now, I want to be completely honest with you. Prior to visiting this area, I really am not that familiar with the Shaker communities. So when I got home, I did do a little research, and I would love to share that with you. So this community here in Enfield, we're here from 1793 until 1923. These were the ninth of 18 Shaker communities in America. Now, just recently in 2023, the Enfield Shaker Museum had purchased this shrine of Our Lady of La Salette, and for the first time in 96 years, the North family and the Church family of the Enfield Shakers were reunited again. The Enfield Shakers built more than 200 buildings, and they farmed over 300 acres. In 1841, the great stone dwelling that I showed you at the beginning of our tour, that was built, and that was the largest Shaker dwelling ever built. They closed their Enfield community in 1923 due to their declining numbers. However, in 1998, the Enfield Shaker Museum turned the great stone dwelling into the Shaker Inn. I couldn't believe what we had stumbled upon last 4th of July when we were just out for a drive and exploring after our little kayaking trip. I will say I would love to come back and tour it when it actually is open. They also had this beautiful stone pulpit. It's just the neatest place, and look at the view. I mean, you're looking out onto the lake. I'm so glad we came this direction and discovered this little gem, because not only is it beautiful, but I actually learned a little bit about the Shaker community. So we will be back. I've also read they have something called the Evening of Lights, I believe it was, in December, and that would be beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I hope you enjoyed this little tour as much as I did, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.